Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are all getting to enjoy some sunshine today. I know I had to close all my curtains because it gets bright in here before we could go ahead with the presentation. I'm so glad you're all here. We're going to talk about food and budgeting today. I think it'll be a great presentation and it'll really help a lot of us with our clients, or if you are a participant in the community, we've got some great points to go over today. So I'll go ahead and get started. Our presentations are generally approximately 20 minutes long, and then we have some questions and answers afterwards. Please go ahead and use the question and answer box for that. It'll just help me moderate those a little bit better today. Momentum is an organization here in the city that works with people living on low income. We partner with lots of community members and lots of different agencies in the community to bring financial literacy to those around Calgary and those in needs. And we definitely are seeing quite an increase in that right now with COVID-19. Of course, all of our in-person programs are on hold right now, mostly like all agencies in the city. It sounds like there's going to be a small plan to put that back into play, but we'll see how that goes through the summer. While we do have our in-person programs on hold, I do have a couple of helplines to tell you about. First of all, our money management helpline. On that helpline, you can phone the number or email that email there, the moneymanagement@momentum.org, and receive some assistance with money management, resource navigation, or even some financial coaching if you're looking for that. We also have our community helplines and our coaching series there. That business helpline is good for professional coaches that help with recommendations for your business. They help navigate any business resources that you might be interested in. Or if you're looking at starting a business, you can get some assistance there with our Starting a Business program. And the phone number is on the slide, as well as the email business@momentum.org. Our next helpline is our community helpline, is employment helpline and coaching, sorry. And for that one, we have job coaching, resume advice, interview preparation, and resource navigation. For that one, you can call the number below or even email employmentcoaching@momentum.org. A little bit of housekeeping. We have a 20-minute presentation, like I said, and the question and answer period at the end. All participants are muted. However, I will be able to access the question and answer section at the bottom, as well as we are recording this session. So if you miss anything or you want to listen to it again, you can definitely go ahead and do that. Before I get started into the slides, I did just want to recognize that in the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that we live, work, and play on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani reserves, as well as the Tsuut'ina, Stoney Nakoda Nation, the Métis Nation Region 3, and all of the other people who make their home in Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. So we'll go ahead and get started today with the first slide here is on nutrition. So basically nutrition, it's about eating food that is healthy and balanced. It's about providing energy for your body and really just working to ensure that your body is at optimal functioning. Nutrition also gives good nutrition is important for both good health and disease prevention. Sorry guys, I was trying to delete my video so you didn't have to see me talk the whole way and I threw myself. So nutrition, again, good nutrition is important for both good health and disease prevention. People often feel that eating healthy food takes a lot of time or is too expensive. We're going to talk a little bit today about how that's actually not true. Eating healthy is actually quite reasonable if you go about it with some of the tips that we have here today. So the first tip that we really have, and I think one of the most important tips for us is meal plan, right? And the question a lot of people ask is why meal plan? Well, it's right there for you. It saves time, it saves money. You're able to access sales and coupons if you meal plan. You can make healthy food choices, and you can even reduce some food waste when you're meal planning, right? Planning your meals before you buy groceries, it helps you make healthy choices and it keeps to your budget. Meal planning can save time, and that's by shopping once a week. You can save money by buying what's on your list. right? You can make use of the different sales, and there's all kinds of sales right now, especially for some of the online stores you can access. And you can make healthy food choices based on the Canada Food Guide. And then also, of course, like I said, reduce waste. Use what you have at home first, folks. I really recommend, often we want to make the next greatest meal. I want that burger, or I want that ear of corn, or whatever it is that you see on TV. But use what you have at home first. And that really helps us stick to our budget and eat healthy, because it's what we have and what we've shopped for. When you plan your meals, it's good to think about your budget. Think about your schedule, think about your skills and your knowledge and your nutritional needs, right? Together, these factors, they can help us decide what foods we should buy pre-made and what you can make at home. It's usually less expensive to make your food from scratch, but it's not always practical. Sometimes you just don't have the time. Maybe you've worked all day. Maybe you've got plans for the kids that night. Maybe you've got people coming over, just other things that you have to get done, right? So it's not always practical to make all of your food from scratch, but it is far more economical. Try adopting a back to the basics approach. So what that really means is plan out your meal using basic ingredients, right? Shop for a couple of weeks ahead of time for with of your provisions, okay? Don't just shop every day for the food that you want. Right? It's good to go every couple of days for fresh fruit and vegetables, but make sure that you're shopping for at least the week's provisions ahead of time. It helps you save money, right? Baking our own bread when we need something, or when we want to make sandwiches, it's handy to make your own bread, right? It really saves on time, or it saves, sorry, on cost and on your time for shopping. This causes us to be more adventurous as well, guys and gals. When we are really planning our meals and eating the food that we have at home, we have to think about what we're eating, and we get to explore different uses for other food staples. For instance, it's Cinco de Mayo today, Taco Tuesday. I can't believe they fall on the same day. It's almost my favorite day rolled into one. I'm pretty excited. So for us right now, we have a can of lentils. So I've made lentil meat rather than using actual meat. So I am using what I have in my house to celebrate Cinco de Mayo on Taco Tuesday. We have a few tips for savings on groceries as well. So first of all, check your fridge and your pantry, see what you have. I don't know how many times I've been to the grocery store and come home, bought in 6 peppers to eat with dinner and found out I had 5 peppers in the fridge already. So really have a look and see what you have, right? Plan your grocery list and plan it at home, not on the fly as you're going through the store. Because as you're going through the store, you're thinking, oh, that would be nice. Ooh, let's get this as well. Whereas if you're at home, you can see what you have in your fridge and your pantry and really know what to put on your list. Look in the flyers. Look in the flyers and look online, because I've noticed that there's not as many flyers coming to the house nowadays with this COVID-19. So look online, see what the sales are that are out there. Eat before you go grocery shopping. This is the most basic tip I can give to anybody, because as soon as you walk in that store and all the sights and the sounds and the colors and the smells of all that food, you're gonna wanna eat everything in the store. So eat before you go to make sure you're not hungry. Only buy the items on your grocery list. Now that can be tough, especially as you're walking down the aisle and you think, I would like green beans for spaghetti dinner tonight as well, right? But try and stick to your list. Know that you've made a plan according to what you have in the house and that you're gonna stick to your list. Look for generic or store-brand items. They're usually a little bit lower in price. And most generic items are made by the big brand named companies. So really, it's not like you're buying knockoffs. You're generally buying their name brand just under a different name. And then review the items in your cart before going through the checkout and really look and say, do I need this or do I want this? Is it something that I am using this week? Was it on my list, or did I add it on an impulse as I walked by that cart of chips or whatever it might be? A tip that I didn't put on here, but I think is also really valid, is maybe don't take your kids or don't take your husband with you. Often when we have more people with us, they want this, they want Kool-Aid, they want Jell-O, they want all these things that are not on our list. So it's handy to just go by yourself. Remember the meals you and your family already likes to eat when you're doing your meal plan, right? Look at the food that you have and plan your meals and groceries based on what you need, not just what you want, right? Think about how much time you have to cook for you and your family. Post your meal plan where you can see it. Because if you can see it, you're motivated to stick to the plan. Because if you can see your meal plan and know that you have that and that you bought those groceries to make that meal during the week, then you know you're going to use that food rather than stop on the way home from work. Another tip is if you have time, choose a day during the week where you can batch some of your meals for easy access, right? Maybe you want to make the spaghetti sauce or the taco meat or whatever it is that you're going to use during the week ahead of time and have it in the fridge ready to go. So online shopping, it really has changed the face of what it looks like for us to grocery shop here with this COVID pandemic for sure. There are lots of places that offer free pickup and even free delivery, but some charge a few dollars, right? You want to be aware of the cost of the groceries as well. So not only does the superstore offer online groceries, but so is Safeway, right? Or so does Sobeys. And maybe they're a little more expensive on some of the items that you're looking for. So really plan where it is that you want to do your online shopping. Find out if the normal store that you shop at has pickup available. Often shopping online saves money. And the reason it saves money is because it prevents you from grabbing this and that. Oh, I'm just going to add this to my meal, or maybe I'll just like this. Doesn't that chocolate bar look nice, right? It helps end your cravings, or at least put a stop on them for the time being. The important thing to remember is you need to stick to using the groceries that you've ordered rather than then making multiple additional trips to the store. I definitely have been guilty of that myself. Online shopping, getting a nice cart full, having my meal plan, and then halfway through the week going to the store again. But that definitely adds more costs to your budget. Doing this will actually be a hindrance to your budget. The more you go to the store, the more you buy. And you say, oh, I'm just going to go because I need a banana or two. But in fact, you never walk out with a couple of bananas. You often walked out with the bananas, the avocado, an apple, a bag of chips, and a chocolate bar, because nobody ever walks out with the one thing they go in for, right? And that will cost you more each time you go and then put a dent in your budget. Decide what option is best for you. Maybe going to the store is best for your family. And that's also a good option if you're able to do it. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to online shop just because it's available. Maybe you need to go to the store, right? Figure out what scenario is best for you and how you're going to make that happen for your family. We can't talk about food and budgeting without talking about the other food sources that are out there. Because if your budget is a little scarce and you're struggling to access the food that you need to know there are some other resources out there for you. Things like the food bank. There's local churches or food pantries that can also assist you. We also have the farmers market available where people can shop and get their groceries as they need. It's important to examine your foods and your wants versus your needs. For example, you may want a yummy bag of chips to go with your burger, but you also have to remember you have potatoes at home that you can make, right? Identify your cravings, right? And when you do that, you're really able to identify what you want versus what you need in your meal plan and purchase according to your needs rather than your wants. Now, of course, this isn't to say, folks, that sometimes a bag of chips or a nice ice cream treat aren't warranted, because I'll tell you, there's many times that I've had them. You just need to focus on how often you're making your want purchases and whether or not that's causing you to bust your budget and therefore eliminate some of the needs that you have. It's very important also to review your budget, right? Something that we want to think about and we'll talk a little bit about as well. When you're reviewing your budget, you really want to look at what your wants and your needs are, right? And you want to plan your meals around your budget. Maybe you can't afford that rack of lamb right now, right? You want to know how much you can spend on your groceries each month. Our food resources are where we're able to save the most money when we're examining our monthly variable expenses. And this is because we control what we buy, when we buy it, and where we buy it. For example, are we going to buy that thing of peanut butter this week, or are we going to wait till it goes on sale next week? Are we going to use coupons, right? How are we going to ensure that our budget stays in check? It helps us to maintain our budget, to really think about our options for purchasing our food. So let's talk about building our budget. We've talked about lots of different ways to meal plan, lots of ways to enhance our meals and how we can look at our budget. But let's look at our meal plan and our budgeting, right? We want to try and remember to buy some pantry staples as well, right? Like rice and pasta, things that are a little bit less expensive, but that really help you to beef up your meal, right? Keep a running grocery list. I don't know how many of you do that, but right now, for example, I have a whiteboard in my kitchen, and every time I run out of something and I know that I need it, I put it on my list rather than running to the store that day just to pick it up. It's there, and I know when I go for my weekly shop, I can pick it up then. You can also, when you're meal planning, find out if you're about to run out of your staples, right? And plan when you need to purchase more. And in doing that, you really get to focus on what your budget looks like. So when we're building our budget, the first thing we want to do is add up all of our sources of income. And sources of income can be anything from the CERB, if that's what you're receiving right now, right down to the income that you earn each month from your job. It can also be gifts from family if you get any money, or it can be other government benefits such as the CCTV. Any income basically that comes into your house or any money that comes into your house is considered a source of income. The next thing you want to do is track all your expenses. So look at your housing expenses. You want to think about your heating expenses, your food expenses. Do you have any traveling expenses? Basically, any money that goes out of your house, you want to add those up and subtract them from your source of income. The third point on this slide, and I think it's almost the most important slide we have here, folks, is the balance your budget to zero. And you may ask yourself, why would I balance my budget to zero? Why don't I want to have a little bit of savings in my account? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because you want your money to be working for you. If you've balanced your budget to zero, you have assigned every single dollar that you have coming in as income, and you've assigned it to work for you. So if you're finding yourself at the end of the month with a little bit of money extra, put it in a savings. Make that money work for you so that you can start earning even a tiny bit of interest. And at least then it's working for you. And then step number 4, review each month and adjust as necessary. Folks, your budget is not stagnant. You won't have the same budget at 18 that you have at 45. You definitely won't have the same budget when you have 3 toddlers versus 3 teenagers. You really want to be aware of how your budget is going to change each month and what changes you need to make. You also might get a new job, or maybe you'll lose a job, or your rent will change. So many things will change. They can even change within a month. COVID hit us on March 15th, I believe, is when we all kind of realized that this was happening. So mid-month, a lot of us had to adjust our budget. We had to look at what it would be like for us going forward. So review your budget each month and adjust it as you need. We found a couple of great resources. Canada's Food Guide, we've put the link there for you. The Healthy Eating on a Budget, also a wonderful link that we've been through and we recommend having a look at. And then we also have the Food Choices When Money is Tight. This is a great article and it really helps people look at the different types of choices they can make when they're working with a budget. I'll go ahead and check if there's any questions or if anybody has any that they'd like to ask, and then we can keep going for the day. So somebody asked if we can send the resource list with the links to us. I sure can. I can send you the slide or I can send you the whole slide package and it will then go ahead and you can access the links right from there. Somebody asked if I think the click and collect services help with food budgets. Yeah, I do. I often say I think I should get paid by the superstore because I use click and collect all the time. It helps you for a couple of reasons, really, because you're not shopping for the extra items as you walk through the store. You've shopped off your list, you pick them up, and you get to leave. I found with my family, we're saving between $25 and $50 a week by using Click and Collect. So I really recommend people going ahead and using that service, or whichever service suits them better, whether it's with a different store or with the superstore. But I think it's wonderful. That was somebody else's question too. Yeah, I really do. I think it's valuable. Plus, it saves time. Somebody asked if buying in bulk is a cost savings. I think that would depend on your family's usage of the items, and just depending on the funds that you have. Because sometimes, no, you don't have the funds to buy in bulk. So it's not really a cost savings. It costs a little bit more. But if you can buy in bulk and use it over a period of time where then you're not re-going to the store constantly, yes, I would say it is. I think it's honestly depending on your situation and your family makeup, how it works best for you. Thank you. Oh, an online cooking class. That would be amazing. I can't wait to see. I'd love it if you'd share that information with us when it's ready. Well, folks, there doesn't seem to be any more questions coming through. Um, oh, sorry, there's one more. What do you recommend for someone who wants to start planning weekly menus and has not ever done it before? I think, like I said earlier, really knowing what your family likes to eat, and knowing what meals are easy for you to prepare and what meals you like to prepare. Because if you don't like to cook, you don't want to do a complicated meal in the kitchen that might take you an hour and a half to cook. You want to pick items that you already like. And then once you're used to the meal planning and really enjoying it, then maybe you can add new recipes here and there just to have variety and give new things a try. Well, thank you so much. Folks, I really appreciated you coming today. If you have any more questions or would like some more information, please feel free to visit Momentum, momentum.org, or there is our tiny URL there. We are, of course, on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I have a great new series that I wanted to just quickly tell you guys about for the next 4 Thursdays. So the dates are May 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th. We are partnering with Sunrise Community Link, and it's going to be great. We're actually doing a tax time 4-part series. So the first one is how to file personal income taxes. So of course that was last week, but we are going to update it a little bit this coming Thursday and add a bit new information. Next Thursday, we're doing how to set up my CRA account and manage my documents. The third one will be how can I get my taxes amid COVID-19 done if I'm self-employed. And the last one is should I file my own taxes. We're trying to get these all done just in time for June, because June 1st, of course, is the file deadline. So if you're interested, the link is there. It will be, and when I send out the slides, you'll be able to access it. It's also on Momentum's website, and I believe on Sunrise Community Link as well. You'll be able to access registration. I think it will be wonderful information for both professionals and people of the community alike. So please feel free to spread the word. Anybody that has any question about taxes, they can join them and come and see. Of course, you don't have to have them all. If you miss number 1 or number 2, you can still do 3 or 4. There isn't an order for them. You can see that the topics all stand alone, so you can pick and choose which ones you might be most interested for. You do register for all 4 and then just come as you want as well. And then next week on Money Talks, we are having Kelly from Momentum join us, and she is actually going to give us some updates on all of the government programs. So not just the CERB, she's going to be talking about the student funding, as well as some of the Alberta changes to the Alberta funding that is also available for people here in Alberta. That is next Tuesday at 3 p.m. on May 12th. Again, if you're already registered for them, that's wonderful and I'd love to see you. However, if you need to register, there is the webinar link for you right there. And just one more time, we do have the 3 helplines. Should you need any assistance with financial coaching or any other help on financial needs, please give us a call or an email to any of the coach lines. Thank you so much, team, and I will definitely be sending this out to everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.